We have levels. Oh, levels. Dude.
We're actually working now.
Oh, we've been taking levels for granted for so long.
Oh my God, I haven't felt that stressed out in a long fucking time, dude.
Yeah, something kind of took a shit
Well, remember,
somewhere.
we were having some shitty problems last week, but it was more with the fucking laptop, not with anything we were doing.
Yeah, no, it's we plug everything in the same way as we do week in, week out. Bam, there is nothing. There's nothing there.
Bastards. Yeah. Anyway, what we were talking about is Audacity was fucking us in the ass and couldn't recognize our board, yet everything else can.
Yeah, so we're using the a program not as good, but
Not as good, but fucking costs like $200 or $300. Reaper,
Really?
Yeah, like Reaper Pro is expensive.
well, there you go. Well, that's did we buy Reaper Pro?
I got it from a guy on the street.
A guy got it from a guy I know a guy.
I knew a guy
Yeah.
that happened to know a guy that had some awesome recording software.
All right, well, friends, it's the time to let you know that that diet that I was on for about 32 days required me to have, I don't know, like 22 grams of carbs a day. I actually cut that in half, as much as I could get away with.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's done. It's done now.
Well, you were on it for a solid month, yeah?
32 days.
Fucking
So yeah, I'm about on beer number 8 because of our weird setbacks. I've been drinking like we did the podcast an hour ago.
I know. Usually I'm in that seat. That's usually how it goes. Like today I am behind. So welcome to the Mead Metal MMA podcast. We get together every Friday and talk about our 3 favorite things.
Indeed. I'm Kevin.
I'm Brandon. We talk about mead, talk about metal, talk about MMA. I think that might be the first intro I've ever done.
I think you did a fucking damn fine job.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I'm going to put you in for some award next year.
I need work, son. I need work.
Actually, that's the unfortunate thing, because we always started off, and there's just there are certain fans of the podcast that enjoy the so how's your week? And then they would get to hear Brandon just regale them with all kinds of nonsense from the hotel industry. And
well, that's going to be hitting a little bit of a hiatus.
Yeah.
But that's all right. I still lead an interesting life.
that is true.
And you know, if we're gonna jump right into how was my week, I only have one interesting tale to tell, and it happened today at Walmart.
Well, Walmart's the place to go to have entertaining adventures,
Right, or the flu. So a certain video game came out today that I swore I was never going to buy. And not only did I buy it, I had to buy the fucking Champions Edition.
Man, we're going to talk video games, or does this have anything to do with Mead, Metal, or MMA?
It has to do with MMA.
Oh, there we go.
It does have to do with MMA, inadvertent MMA. How about that?
Okay.
So I go to Walmart, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm just going to pick it up. Dump $85 on a game.
Is that what they're up to now?
Well, it was a Champions Edition. They were all out of the $60 one. I was like, fuck it. I just want the game. Just fucking give me the game. I'm not going to drive to Clovis to go get it. And I had to wait like 20 minutes because, you know, early morning at Walmart ain't no one buying video games. Or apparently there are. They're buying all the fucking regular editions of UFC 3. So I get my game, fucking bought a shirt. So I didn't feel like I was just there spending nearly $100
oh, my God.
on
You had to guilt buy.
I had to.
Holy shit,
totally.
man.
And I'm coming out, and I'm coming out of the exit hole where all the fucking masses funnel out of
Right.
Walmart.
Yes.
Not where the masses funnel in, where they funnel out. So
It's a pretty good choke point.
yeah, and I'm checking out, you know, I'm looking at the game. I'm paying half attention. I know that I'm heading the exit door and there ain't no one in front of me or behind me. So I'm looking at all the specs on the back of the game, you know, getting a little excited, getting half chubbed. And I mow down a small child.
Oh, good.
I need her right in the head.
I think that's called a learning opportunity, actually.
And the mother was not pleased. She was berating me
Really?
for like not paying attention, which, you know, yeah, valid. However, I was using the proper door. They were coming in the exit door.
Right.
If you work at a goddamn restaurant and you get smacked in the face by that door by a waiter, it's your own fault.
Sure.
'Cause there are signs that say, go out that way, come in that way.
And I think I like the way that you go ahead and make that tangential to right now because, you know, if it benefits you,
Goddamn right.
I know where you're going with this. And that child ain't got no chance.
No, I don't think it would stand up in court either. There's video footage. I was doing the right thing. You know, you can't fucking be mad at me for not paying attention.
Did you put your finger back in that woman's face?
All I said was next time use the right door.
Oh.
And I kept walking. I didn't stop.
Look at Mr. Factual.
I was a man on a mission at that point. It was early Friday morning. I just spent $85 on a game. I was in an okay but still shitty mood.
Children are certainly in the dispensable mode, yes.
Well, they say they're our future, but I'm really bummed out about that fact, man. And I think if you can knee one in the head, you're doing a good job. But anyway, sorry to that child, Well, not sorry to the mother. Mother was a bitch.
That is I think what would you call that? A milestone in one's life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being able to knee a child accidentally in the head and walk away.
We're talking about bucket list then.
Oh yeah, no. I mean,
in the way of the child.
I'm down to like 2 things.
I've got like very little, nothing to very little, because I mean, really on this diet, I've had.
Yeah, it's just been a bunch of. Today has been just joy for being able to enjoy a beer and a burrito now.
Oh yeah, no, that's where this day started. But it's 32 days. I'd went since 2017. Which I guess might actually be out for a ruling, because really I think I was drinking beer after, New Year's hit and everything else for probably an hour or two. But but still,
well, that's why you threw in that extra day.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly right. And so I go 32 days. There it is. I'm going to try to do it another 1 or 2 times again this year. But, God, the benefits sleeping are great. As far as a lot of like the weird things I have going on with my joints once in a while, and wanting to get all swollen and everything else on me, it actually seemed like it took some of that out. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't really know if that might be more of an effect of thinking that that's something that it is supposed to do, but yet it doesn't do. I don't know.
Were you getting a lot of omega-3s in that particular diet?
Well, that's the funny thing, because all of it comes from fat. Like most of the diet is all fat. You know? And not a lot of fish. I didn't really get into a lot of it, because most fish is probably not going to work on the diet. It's more protein than you want and not enough fat.
Oh, wow, yeah. Fuck, I didn't think
salmon is a really good one, but I mean, where are you getting salmon in New Mexico?
Yeah, in a can.
Yeah, that's right. That's pretty much.
And if you're lucky, you can get the red salmon, but usually it's the pig.
You will walk yourself back and talk yourself into eating a hot dog. I guarantee it.
Well, I'm glad to have you back. I got real tiresome drinking beer alone for a month.
Slinging beers, that's so we're back to that again. And that's the whole thing. I'm in a deficit of where I usually am at this point. So
well, you did kind of jump right the fuck back in. Well, it's not like you had a few Chardonnays and called it good.
No, time is no man's friend.
Shit. Well, Mead.
Good news, bad news. I mean, it really depends on who you are. Well, in a variety of information. First of all, the good news, I think, for everybody, we bottled the Troublemaker batch. Longships batch. Troublemaker is still waiting. We're going to rack that one and let it settle. We're about two weeks out from that, probably. Right. But the Longships is now all bottled. Now I have to go ahead and get the label stock figured out, get that to Brandon. He gets some other information back to me. I get it to somebody else, and then we get it printed out, and it comes back to me, and then I hand it back over to Brandon, because he's the only guy with steady hands to put it on the bottles.
Right.
So
which is a funny fucking thought, to be honest.
But that's how all of that operates.
Yeah.
So the good news is Troublemaker is on the way. Longships is going to be ready in days.
Longships is basically en route.
Yeah, I mean, it's already corked. We just have to get the label and shrink on it.
Which, by the way, was one of the slickest bottling processes I think we've ever had.
Yeah, no.
We only had to really top off. We didn't have to top off any of them, actually. We just had to, we had to top off a little bit on that one bottle.
Right.
And after that, we were good.
No, and then after that, using the corker, everything went 100% right.
Yeah.
Which never happens.
Never happens.
So it's kind of it might be called a good luck batch, really, in some circles.
It is beautiful. I'll give it that.
Yeah, Longships really turned out fantastic. So we're really excited about that. That'll be ready here in a few days. Troublemaker also probably about 2 weeks out on that one.
Yeah, sometime probably after the fight card.
Now, what might be the bad, I think, for some people moving forward is that, you haven't heard us talking about batches beyond these two, because frankly, we've had some support from a couple of people, but we're not able to utilize this for what we originally wanted to, and that was to fund our music efforts.
Which it has.
It has.
It has
absolutely.
done that. But I have become our greatest supporter.
Yeah, no, and that's a fact. It's been that way for a while.
And it's basically just like a revolving piggy bank. So it's time to shelve it for a little bit.
Yeah. Here's the good news is that we're going to have quite a bit of stock for a little while, which is available to you until it's gone. And we'll assume that you're still supporters of ours and everything else, and that's what we're going to do. The Mead side of it, I don't know. We'll go on sabbatical for a little bit. There's some experiments I want to do on other things. I mean, I really, really want to get into the beer side of it, not really for our supporters or anything else, really just kind of
for selfish reasons.
For me, yeah, a very selfish reason. So I think that's where we're going to be on the Mead side. I mean, obviously the podcast is going to keep pushing forward, and I will still impart knowledge of brewing techniques and things of that nature, at times.
Sure.
But
well, yeah, we're still going to talk about Mead.
Yeah.
I mean, that will always be a part of this show. And we're not stopping. It's just, as of right now, with what we're going to have backstock-wise now, there's no point in starting anything new until we start getting rid of some of the old.
Yeah. And that's the whole thing. And we're not really in the inventory building business. So,
yeah.
Now I did mention to some friends today. I said, well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to kind of probably, nix it for the short term at a minimum, Well, immediately then that was met with, well, hold on. Is it, what do I have to do? Well, really, probably maybe we don't market ourselves well enough. Because,
this is small. This is a small operation.
Yeah.
We have about a half dozen people that really dig what we do. Just offhand, Carrie, Ruben, Krista, Dawn, Rick.
And by the way, I got to talk about Krista for a moment. Is that she apparently drinks our product the same way that you do. And that is that sitting around basically by oneself and drinking an entire bottle and then kind of figuring out what's going on in life.
It saves money on wine glasses, man.
So kudos to her because she apparently takes the brand and
I'm glad someone listens. Yeah. I'm glad someone listens. But yeah, it ain't the end. It's a good time to pause and move all this stuff. I mean, I'm probably still going to be buying them by the bottle anyway. But
yeah.
But we're going to have, when those two are done, close to about 50 bottles. And we've never had that much backstock.
Right.
So even though we're not going to be actively making mead, we're still going to have it definitely for sale.
Yeah, and I mean, if certain things come up also that kind of just really pique my fancy or is like, God damn it, you know what, that'd be a great mead, then certainly I will probably get, some way of that going pretty quickly. But but generally we try to make things very astute decisions,
sure.
Really, business-wise.
Very calculated, yeah.
But anyway, that's the whole thing. And we're still going to talk about brewing in general, and that'll be under that mead part. So there's no reason to change the name of the podcast.
No, we're not going to go to we can go to, well, there's not a whole lot of other M's I enjoy. Mowing?
Well, it's crazy.
Mowers, metal, and MMA. That's a little more metal. It's a little more metal.
We live in certain parts of, I think, the South where your mower is considered to be pretty prime shit, Maybe.
The legacy will live on, and it will be back.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's the whole thing. I wouldn't be surprised if about 3, 4, 5 podcasts down the road, then we're already talking about new batches because things we just can't walk away from.
Totally.
And Green Man might very well be one of them that, I mean, that's the one that received the most attention not too long ago. Actually,
right.
There are some supporters of ours today, and you mentioned Rick. Yeah, Rick's going to be getting a bottle of Green Man as well. We're almost out, so that's where that one's kind of at. But it's sad because am I weird because I think we have stock, and we mentioned though that hey, you can still buy that or donate, to the cause. Yeah. But you can go ahead and do what you want to where your cash is concerned. But when we're dried up, we're done.
Yeah. Well, hey,
and that's the fear.
You don't know what you got till it's gone.
To quote Mick. Yeah.
Yeah. Or Cinderella.
Was it Cinderella or
That was a
Mead?
Cinderella song.
Oh.
You know, the guy with the terrible voice?
Oh, that guy.
Which, speaking of people with terrible voices, metal.
Anything fun go? Oh, wait, there is some fun going on this week. You turned me on to a Judas Priest release.
Yeah, it came out today. It's the title track off the new album coming out in March, Firepower.
It's kind of a weird one on this, only because of the fact that it sounds just like Judas Priest in 1985, 86.
Well, on Metal Injection, they're like, hey, Judas Priest, this sounds just like classic heavy Judas Priest. And by God, it does.
And, man, I got to say that it doesn't change much. Now, that's okay to some level or some extent. The weird thing is, when you're talking about bands out of the 80s, you have to look at the fact of, okay.
Well, I guess we would call them a 70s band.
Probably 70s or 80s, sure. But here's the whole thing. They start up and they're kind of raw, and they kind of change their sound to where they finally hit a signature degree that everybody's able to identify. Oh, that's those guys. That's their sound.
Like Slayer.
And sure. Yeah, exactly like Slayer. Exactly like Slayer. So that's it. And you have that signature sound, and then that's what you have. But then that's what's embraced. Well, years go by, and every time you try to change your sound a little bit, and everybody goes, no, that's not you guys.
Well, I mean, like, look at Motorhead.
Well,
Lemmy and Company, they did have some mellow jams. I mean,
Sure.
I Ain't No Nice Guy is one of my favorite fucking Lemmy songs that he does. I'm not even sure if that's an original track from him. It sounds like it is. But Motorhead, you go to hear Bomber, you go to hear Ace of Spades, you go to hear the old shit. You don't really go to hear the new shit.
yeah, no, that's
For that, I think for the British metal that came over here and fucking just destroyed everyone,
right.
they don't want that to change. Now, you look at a band like Metallica, Kill 'Em All and Ride the Lightning. Kill 'Em All is really like the molding time. Ride the Lightning, trying to figure out what they're about. Master of Puppets, they nailed it, but they continue to evolve. Justice for All came out, suddenly that bass line was gone. And then the Black Album came out and sold fucking millions of copies, and they're like, this is it. But they didn't stick with it and went bluesy on Load and Reload, which are Load's still one of my favorite fucking albums.
Sure.
But I do see what you're saying. Judas Priest don't need to evolve their sound because their fans love them for what they are.
Yeah.
Judas Priest ain't trying to win new fans.
That's the whole thing, because that's what it would be at this point. Because do you want to try to expand your sound into something else and evolve it beyond what you're known for, but trying to do it at this late state, that seems a little bit needy kind of.
If you're able to still put out new music that your fucking fan base enjoys, why fuck with the formula this late in the game?
Yeah.
And Rob Halford still sounds fucking awesome.
Somehow.
We were talking about that earlier. The old Rod Stewart theory. Oh man.
Yeah. Well.
On a lighter note here. Over the past couple weeks, we've been doing these lists. Well, we haven't been doing these lists. Metal Injection has been doing these lists of albums celebrating anniversaries this year from various decades.
Okay.
We've done the 10-year and the 20-year. We've moved on to the 30-year. Now, thankfully, this one's a lot smaller list of things that kind of reach out and grab you. But there are albums turning 30 this year that will reach out and grab you.
Sure.
Danzig's self-titled turns 30 this year, which that guy never recovered from getting punched in the mouth. That lead guy from Biohazard, dude. Have you seen that video?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. He fucking pushed that guy. Like, they're talking about something. I can't remember what it is.
Right.
And Glenn Daggs punches this dude and just says, fuck you, man, and just gets rocked. Just dropped by this huge Mexican guy. He never recovered from that. I don't care how hard he thinks he is. He ain't that hard. Iron Maiden, seventh son of a seventh son, turning 30 this year. As well as Judas Priest, Ram It Down. Goes back to that Rod Stewart theory we were talking about earlier.
Right.
King's X, Out of the Silent Planet, turns 30 this year.
Holy crap.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Lita Ford's self-titled album turns 30 this year. God damn, that's a crazy one.
Yeah.
Close My Eyes Forever is still a fucking great. It's one of the best fucking metal ballads that's ever been made. Lay of Our Love is probably in top 5 for me. But, I mean, Lita and Ozzy, they paired pretty well together.
They saved heavy metal for another year or two.
Well, I think these next 2 bands might have done the job for them. Megadeth, So Far, So Good, So What came out. Will be 30 years old this year. Probably my favorite Megadeth album. That and Rust in Peace. Those are my 2 favorites. Late 80s Megadeth, you can't go wrong. But then also, And Justice for All came out. It's turning 30 this year. Of course, those bass lines ain't turning 30 because we haven't heard them yet.
Yeah.
Overkill's Under the Influence turns 30. Pantera, first time fronted by Phil Anselmo, they released Power Metal. 30 years old today. Well, not today, this year.
Yeah.
Slayer's South of Heaven. Again, I mean, you can mention any Slayer album and be like, oh, well, that's my favorite album. Yeah, but you could also say that the music's so similar on the other shit, especially in the 80s. Soundgarden, Ultra Mega OK, turning 30.
Now, that's the one that starts kind of getting a little weird.
Well, you're basically talking 80s Soundgarden here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is kind of mind-blowing to say in itself.
Yeah. No, I mean, before they kind of really became in that classification of what was going on with the Seattle stuff and everything else, that they had, and I forgot what it was. There was something. They were not what you would consider what they eventually became.
Right.
Played like some more like traditional sort of pop stuff, and then evolved to what they were.
Right. Well, and that was where fucking evolution really paid off.
Yeah.
But Chris Cornell can never stay the same. That guy had too much to offer.
That guy had a lot of things going on.
And Testament's a New Order. Turns 30 this year. I think I always like Testament. I mean, they're okay. They're good for a jam every once in a while.
Sure.
And we talked about Slayer retiring, doing their final farewell tour. I mean, it's a pretty huge fucking card they have.
Yeah.
Anytime you have Lamb of God as not the headliner, that's a huge metal show.
Sure. And that's what I was going to say. That it's great because they built a really great full card of a variety of bands right behind them.
Yeah.
Into the whole thing. They're able to go out and celebrate themselves with no pressure. The pressure really actually becomes then onto...
pressure comes onto the fans to be sure if they want to see them when they head out, to be able to catch them. It's going to be a little difficult to do in Dallas. Dallas is the last stop on their farewell tour.
Right.
Tickets fucking sold out in minutes.
Oh, sure.
And now if you want to go to this show and you buy your ticket online, your ass better be ready to pay some cheddar. You thought scalping for fucking MMA fights was bad. $3,000.
Oh, wow.
$3,000 to say goodbye to Slayer. I'll just write him an email.
Yeah, exactly.
And say, hey, I really appreciate you making me really angry as a youth. I kind of don't appreciate you now that I'm older. But, best of luck to you in your future ventures.
Best of luck to yous and yours.
That's free. You can do that for nothing. But people are scumbags anyway. They see an opportunity, just like anytime a fucking new Nintendo console comes out, fucking someone will buy 10 of them just to sell them for triple the amount online.
Right.
It's the world we live in now. It ain't about enjoying shit. It's about making money.
Talking about shows where people make money, and one of the bands we're big fans of, Paul Bearer has a show coming up in May in Inglewood, Colorado, which is kind of the suburb of the greater city of Denver all the way around. But I wouldn't mind seeing that. There's a lot of different acts going on. I saw Paul Bearer, and I thought that's the closest they're playing around here for the next 12 months.
Yeah. I got to admit, I mean, I kind of dig who they're fucking touring with.
It's not Bell Witch.
Skeleton Witch.
Yeah, there you go.
Skeleton Witch, Enslaved, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
I think Enslaved is the headliner on that tour.
Right.
It's one of those that'll be like, as soon as Paul Bearer's done, I'm going to go see if they're hanging out at the merch booth, maybe buy a CD, get it signed, and chat for a little bit, and then get the fuck out of there.
Right.
Because, I mean, at Skeleton Witch, I'm not interested in.
No.
But, and Enslaved, well, I don't know. That might be one to check off the list just to have seen.
Well, we might have to check touch check.
We're gonna have to touch
base with Brett
Fuck
up
Chuck.
in
Fuck
Colorado and get in touch with him and see if he can like kind of put us up.
Yeah.
And be able to get up there and catch that particular show because it is on a Friday.
I mean, of course, God, that's one of my big regrets is not being able to go see fucking Paul Bearer when they were headlining in Albuquerque.
Right.
God damn, that sucked. But
well, and maybe if we don't really, set our goal on this, maybe we can determine to see because they're going to add smaller shows in between.
Well, that's what Spirit Adrift is doing.
Right.
They're doing a couple shows with Paul Bearer as well, and on one of the dates when they're not rocking with them, that's when they're going to be in Albuquerque in some real small fucking place.
Right. Oh, like smaller than like the Sunset?
Well, Sunshine is kind of like the premiere for metal in Albuquerque. Then it's the launch pad, and they're playing at a place like called Susie's. It's got to be a bar in Albuquerque.
Okay.
But that's in March, April. Might consider that as well. And on top of fucking potentially seeing Paul Bearer in Colorado, that'd be all right. Now, I wasn't going to talk about the Grammys because I don't really give a fuck.
Right. Well, you would be among the majority of U.S. citizens that felt the same way.
Especially when I'm a metal fan. It's like I give even less of a fuck. But to say metal had a good day would be a lie. Under Best Metal Performance, Mastodon did win for Sultan's Curse.
Okay.
They were among such metal greats as Body Count, Friend But Ice-T, Meshuggah, that we've talked about in this podcast in the past, and two other bands I've never heard of. But they won, which is great. Mastodon has themselves a Grammy. Good on them.
Sure.
Best Rock Performance. Now, you got Chris Cornell in this.
Oh, so he's in the running then. So, wow, okay.
Chris Cornell for that song, The Promise. I think we've jammed that here in the past. That Foo Fighters Run song, Nothing More, which I had no idea were even fucking active. But it went to a guy by the name of Leonard Cohen. I have no idea who the fuck that is. No idea. And he wins Best Rock Performance, which I don't know what the difference is between performance and song. What's the difference?
That guy's he's kind of a famous songwriter, you could say.
Famous, more famous than Cornell or Dave Grohl?
Personally, I wouldn't go that way. But but if you're not around, if you're not alive, because I think the guy died. Yeah,
Leonard Cohen.
I thought.
I have no idea. I've never heard of the guy.
I might be.
I might be showing my stupidity.
With somebody else entirely. So,
I mean, I know that guy that rates movies with the last name of Cohen, and I know the Cohen brothers. They can put out a pretty goddamn good movie every once in a while, but I don't know this guy. Under Best Rock Song,
okay,
Metallica was nominated with Atlas Rise, which is
crazy because it's from November 2016. So,
well, they don't. They just go straight 365. They're like, no, if it didn't come out after that, it's good. Avenged Sevenfold, two other bands, and Foo Fighters won with their song Run, which that's fine. Here's where I have a problem. Big problem. Best Rock Album, which encompasses rock and metal when you hear the names. Here what's on Mastodon, Emperor's Sand.
Right.
Metallica, Hardwired to Self-Destruct.
Of course.
Nothing More, The Stories We Tell Ourselves. That's a band. I mean, that's Nothing More band I thought had fucking dissolved. Queens of the Stone Age, I guess, had a new album come out that was nominated for a Grammy.
Well, it's terrible.
But the winner, band called The War on Drugs.
Oh, okay.
Called A Deeper Understanding. Now, I listened to these guys after I read this. They're okay. But with the company they were keeping, they should not have won. I've never understood how fucking award shows work anyway.
Sure.
It's all about I guess it's just all about your popularity at that current moment.
It really is how you're marketed and how you carry yourself.
And Metallica's like, hey, that's fine. We're going to go out and still do tours and make bank.
Well, those guys that's the exception. I mean, if you're a young artist, though,
well, now this is the band that got fucking shafted by Jethro Tull at the Grammys. Got shafted by Aqualung.
Yeah. Well, other than that, anything else going on in the metal side of things?
Outside, I heard Wherever I May Roam on my way out here, and it made me want to listen to it again.
Yeah,
that's good. I haven't listened to Black album front to back in a while. I'm gonna have to fucking get back to that. You heard anything new this week
on the metal side? No, not really.
We don't talk about any of that other shit.
Not really. But
I heard someone rock a pan flute solo that was amazing. Yeah, outside of our hopes for maybe seeing Pallbearer and or fucking Spirit Adrift, it's kind of been and usually we'll talk about new metal releases here.
Sure.
You'll notice we haven't mentioned any of them because it was a very slow week unless you're a Saxon fan.
Right.
Which I'm not.
You know, now, you're a select individual.
Yeah. It's been a slow week. My recommendation would be to stick with what you know and listen to what you love this week. There ain't nothing new worth your attention.
Some wise words there.
Well, I like to be the sage of my generation.
Yeah, well.
But now we move on to the more pugilistic arts. And I feel really bad because this news got announced last Friday before we started the podcast, and I fucking completely missed it. Ultimate Fighter. Team Stipe, Team Cormier. Cormier fighting for the heavyweight strap at 226, I believe.
Right.
Wow.
I believe I called that, actually.
Yeah, that's International Fight Week. That's July.
Yep.
Which, goddamn, makes me want to fucking try to go back. I mean, I kind of got fucked by not getting to go to a pay-per-view show. Still got to see a really good card.
I know it's visual, but it is the Disney bad guy. So, but yeah, that's.
But what do you think about that? Fucking, that was the one super fight I didn't know I wanted. But now that it's been announced, I kind of want it.
I thought it was going to happen anyway. I said on last week's podcast, I didn't even know shit about this. I said, look, there's going to be at least 2 super fights.
Yeah, well, you didn't specify the super fight. You just said they're going to stack fight week.
Well, and I said it would probably be that one, and I thought the other one would be Nunez and Cyborg. I thought
that one hasn't been set in stone yet.
No, I know. No, that was my speculation.
Yeah.
My speculation was this fight that did get announced, and then the other one I'm still waiting on, which is the Nunez Cyborg fight.
Well, if they announce fucking Dillashaw and Mighty Mouse, I'll buy a ticket.
And that one, obviously, they're going to try to figure out a way to make
well,
that
it suits it suits perfectly. Make that your co-main. Mighty Mouse doesn't want to be the main event. He wants to be on a big card. Well, God damn it, there's your big card.
Right.
And it's July. You got plenty of time.
All right. Well, but his whole claim to fame is a tough one, is that nobody has beat him. TJ Dillashaw could beat him. So
well, he got beat by Cruz when he fought at 135.
That
flyweight, he's undefeated.
Yeah.
That's the one guy to test him and potentially take that, unless it would be a real drizzling shift. They made it a 135 fight. Do you think if they make it for the flyweight belt, if Mighty Mouse wins, they just shut down 125 altogether?
Well, they're going to have to one way or the other. I don't know. I think that might be the thing.
Yeah.
The super fight is whoever wins that fight at 125 turns out to be the bantamweight champ.
I think.
It sounds a little stupid and backwards, but if you think about it, if those two fight and you want to collapse the 125, why don't you go ahead and make whoever wins that fight, the winner at 135?
Oh man, do you think the winner of that fight becomes the greatest fighter of all time?
Man, that's.
Do you think Dillashaw can parlay that into being the GOAT?
I think he could probably make that argument. He would have a valid.
Because outside of losing to Cruz, that guy has been pretty goddamn impeccable.
And you can make the argument he didn't lose to Cruz.
Yeah, just taking it for what the result was, but yeah, I didn't agree with that at all. And Joe Soto kind of gave him a little bit of a run, but it's because Dillashaw wasn't rocking 100% on that fight.
Well, and those two, those were the fucking. There were training partners, you know.
And that was when things kind of started getting really weird.
Yeah, at Team Alpha Man. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you though, if International Fight Week is headlined by Stipe and Cormier and Dillashaw and Mighty Mouse, and those fights hold, that right there is going to be the biggest fight card we've had since 205.
So you don't care then about the Amanda Nunes and
I
Cyborg?
don't give a fuck.
No,
I
I'm just-
don't.
I'm just-
I'm focused on that strawweight division now, man. Rose Namajunas won my heart.
yeah,
You know, she came in and fucking beat the bully
yeah.
and beat her proper. And now we're getting our rematch here in a
Right.
couple months.
Which I think is right.
Oh, absolutely. Joanna's been a dominant champion. She deserves an immediate rematch, even though Dillashaw fucking destroyed Barral for over 20 minutes and he didn't get one.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be fine. I'd be fine watching that at home or reading the results after waking up the next day after a good night of drinking. I'm just not interested in watching Cyborg fight.
yeah,
I was 5 years ago,
right.
you know. I was even 4 years ago when Rousey was kind of really coming up. That was a fight everyone wanted, Cyborg and Rousey. But everyone also wanted Cyborg and Gina Carano, who was the pre-Ronda Rousey.
Right.
She's very attractive. She was dominant, but then she got put in there with a fucking animal and got dealt with.
Yeah.
Which I'm giving, and I'm saying that's a positive. I'm saying for Cyborg, she's a goddamn animal. I'm just not interested in watching her fight anymore. That featherweight division's a joke. It's not even really started yet. How many featherweight fights have we seen outside of title fights?
Yeah.
3 or 4?
Very few, yeah.
No, we see more flyweight fights.
I mean, it seems like a stopping over point between the 115 and 135. So
I say, fuck it, you bump that shit up to 170. Or if you're feeling real ballsy, let's get Gabby Garcia in here to start doing some work.
you're going to have to turn the USADA folks well away, though.
Yeah, they're going to well, hell, they usually turn a blind eye until after the fight card's done anyway.
Ask Brock Lesnar. Yeah.
That's why we got to see that shit. We got a fight card going tomorrow.
Yeah, you might not have known about it, but actually this one coming out of Brazil.
UFC Belém. Going to be headlined by Machida and Eric Anders, which I believe Anders is undefeated.
I'm really...
This is a fight for Machida to win. And if he doesn't, it's in Brazil. He could say goodbye. He could say goodbye, win or lose.
I think so. Yeah, that's
If
what
this
I
guy
thought.
thinks he's going to make a run at that 185 belt after seeing who's currently battling for right
the
now,
monsters that are there.
let's see Lyoto fight fucking Yoel. Let's see how fast that fight would end. It would end pretty goddamn fast. They went Rockhold, Whitaker, fucking.
I don't
Bisping.
even think he could beat Bisping. Yeah, that's.
I think Bisping knocked him the fuck out.
Yeah, yeah.
Co-main, which was going to be John Dodson fighting Pedro Munoz, got pulled because Munoz came in 4 pounds overweight.
Yeah, wee little piggy.
And John Dodson's like, I don't want nothing to do with that. I used to fight at flyweight, and I don't want to fight anyone with a bigger weight advantage than I'm already dealing with.
Yeah, no, he's right. He's right.
Let's see. Other big fights on this card. Valentina Shevchenko dropping down to $1.25. Fight undefeated Priscilla Cachoeira.
She's man, I got to say this. She does that little ballerina thing.
That's some gnarly shit,
She's
man.
she's a crazy great fighter.
She's energy and burst for sure. Who knows? She might make 125 her home, and I don't know who the fucking flyweight champ is. Whoever that broad was that won that fucking Ultimate Fighter.
Which is weird because she looked a little pudgy at 135, kind of. You know,
agreed.
Oh lordy, 125. She's gonna. That might be her. She might be in the position of taking.
Yeah,
she's gonna a strap.
She's
at
going
a
to
weight
keep,
division.
She's going to keep that
fire.
She's going to keep that power and gain a little speed, and she's going to be even more dangerous.
Ooh.
I don't normally like to pick against undefeateds, but apparently this girl she's fighting had a victory over crack and coke.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, she's got a fight history, but I
guess crack and coke.
Yeah. One fighter I've never heard of, Marcelo Golm. because with it being Belém, you're going to get a lot of fighters you've never heard of.
Right.
Fighting Timothy Johnson, who I like to affectionately call Officer Farva. Remember that dude? Just comes in with that bar mustache, bald head, kind of portly.
Right.
Hasn't had a really good run of it, but goddamn, he has a good look about him. Tim Means fighting Sergio Moraes. The preliminary card might outshine the main card.
Tim Means, like, that guy will fight anybody, anywhere, apparently.
Anywhere, yeah.
Anywhere. And that's where it's at. He's fine with fighting down in Brazil.
Douglas De Andrade fighting Marlon Vera at 135. And Yuri Alcantara fighting Joe Soto at 135. It's kind of weird. Dude fighting $1.25, now bumping up 10 pounds.
Yeah, and Joe Soto, I mean, he's had a couple of flashes of brilliance, but is this where we're at 125?
Yeah. This is it. No, this is at bantamweight.
Okay, 135. Okay, I thought, how would that guy be able to move down?
He might be a victim of this new weight cutting rule.
Okay.
Which may end up fucking affecting Max Holloway. Because apparently Max Holloway's cut to 145 is more than 10% of his body weight.
Right.
Which, under these new rules, you can't do that. You got to bump up. It would be really odd to have a fighter have to fucking vacate a belt due to not being allowed to make that weight.
Right.
Even though he's been making that weight steadily and he's never had a problem.
But, man, the damage you're potentially doing.
Yeah, fuck it, man. Let him do it.
Yeah, well, but it does seem the last bastion of allowing people to hurt themselves to make more money. Intentionally,
I don't think you can hurt yourself, though, if you got the right team behind you.
And that's potentially true. It's potentially true. But the problem is that I still think that the return is not what really comes back, especially if you get cracked in the head a couple of times.
Well, Max Holloway hasn't really been known for that. Frankie Edgar might get it done.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see Holloway skirting through that fight. I see him wearing a lot of damage, but I also see him winning that fight. Because Chad Mendez, when he's fighting for the belt, he does not do well.
My problem then becomes how do you gauge what that fighter's actual weight is, that you're looking for to try to make sure there's only a 10%.
I'm sure they weigh them when they have no fights. They're not trying to cut weight, just like a median weight.
Well, that's what I thought. It's like, are you like talking
Which
about
I'm sure Holloway
with a crazy training camp that you're wanting that number to low to start with so you can drop even lower?
Well, I don't think fighters that have been doing it steadily and successfully all this time should be punished for it. Well, I think it should be a fighter-by-fighter case.
Sure.
Like, what's his face? The guy that 170, that GSP.
Oh, Bisping?
No, bearded motherfucker, Johnny Hendricks.
Okay.
See, that motherfucker basically probably should bump up to 205.
Yeah. Well, he's been cutting down to 170.
Well, I think it's laziness why he can't cut to like 170. I think he can do it. He just likes the streets too much. Those are fighters like that. Yeah, fucking just have him bump up to 185. Max Holloway's been doing it successfully for a few fights now. You don't hear about him having kidney failure or the like.
Right.
But I think a lot of things are going to change. This might be the shakeup the UFC needs. Get some other fighters in some different weight divisions. Get moving on past Conor.
Yeah.
And just trying to find that new star.
And Conor will be something that's probably also played up during International Fight Week or the one that comes like about a month after that.
Yeah.
That
seems to be the thing. Right after Fight Week, if they're International Fight Week, if they have anything big, it happens on the next card, and the next card is fucking gangbusters.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's kind of really how they do it, and it's been traditionally done that way. And apparently even the new ownership was able to carry out the same kind of a routine that you expected out of the old ownership with the Fertittas and stuff.
Yeah. We remember Anderson Silva getting popped by USADA back in November. He's supposed to have that fight with Gastelum. I actually thought that was going to be a good fight.
Yeah.
But apparently what he popped for was methyl testosterone and an unnamed diuretic. It basically popped for synthetic testosterone.
Okay.
And maybe too much coffee.
Truck stop sex pills.
Clackers. Man, do you think it's time for him to just shut it down?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It was like 2 years ago, man. If we're being honest, come on.
He beat Brunson at 208. Retire after that. Call it good. Oh man. But tomorrow's fights, they should be all right. But damn, it seems like the UFC was going to get started pretty strong and kind of sputtered out of the gate, especially with that 220 card, man.
A little bit. I don't know.
Oh, goddamn. And how can I forget the biggest MMA news we've had in the past 7 days, even bigger than Stipe and Cormier? Who watched the Royal Rumble on Sunday?
The Royal Rumble on Sunday. Oh, yeah, for what's her face? The armbar chick.
The old who's a what's it?
The gal dating Travis Brown.
Ronda Rousey makes her
that
official pro wrestling day. Well, not a pro wrestling, but she has debuted on WWE television. For one, I didn't realize Roddy Piper gave her a goddamn leather jacket. That makes me feel like anyone could get one.
Are you jealous of a
You
jacket?
damn right. I'm finally jealous of Ronda Rousey. Not just being a sexy woman, but for having a coat I deserve to wear. It's the right call. People will tune in.
Right. I mean, she's going to make money. She's going to make serious money.
Oh, fuck yeah.
In WWE.
And as long as she's wrestling somebody that knows what the fuck they're doing, she won't become a quadriplegic.
No. You would hope, yeah. Because if she sticks around the UFC, I'm afraid something is going to happen.
No, you're talking total brain death right there. I mean, she deserves everything she has, success-wise. I don't see her doing well in the professional wrestling arena. Ken Shamrock did really well.
Yeah.
And he came from the MMA background. He was in Pancrase. He then came over. I think that fucker even had the NWA fucking heavyweight championship at one point. Which, Ric Flair, fucking Harley Race, and those types had. But you got to be a good actor to be a wrestler.
Yeah.
And I saw Expendables with Ronda in it. She was just being Ronda. But the Ronda she was being was the badass.
Sure.
That persona is fucking gone. You're not going to gain any MMA fans to watch wrestling because they view her as a joke. I mean, they forget everything. It's always what you've done for me lately. And what she's done is provided 2 highlight reel knockouts for somebody else.
That's exactly right. I was exactly going to say, look, that's the whole thing. Yeah, what's she done for me lately? She's been knocked the fuck out significantly.
Yeah.
Holly Holm
dropped her, and Nunes pounded her into submission.
I mean, in epic fashion. It's been crazy. She has no place in the UFC.
But I think it's really shitty that she just never said it. Like, hey, I'm out of here, you guys. They never get like a proper goodbye.
No, because
they just pop up on TV and a couple months later.
You got a whole camp full of assholes telling you how great you are.
Well, yeah, now it's just Edmund Tarverdyan fucking beaten off into a sock.
Don't even think he's around because WWE doesn't require a striking coach. So
no, need an acting coach. Thankfully, she has friends like The Rock.
Yeah,
I don't even think The Rock can help her.
Apparently, she's terrible. Well,
I'm always optimistic about new things, but this is just something that 1, I'm not really interested in the first place, and 2, I don't see it being successful.
Yeah,
I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. Well, my friend.
Yes, sir.
I think it's time to shut her down.
Yeah. Going to be fun because we actually have now 2 controllers for the PS4.
We have entered the new technological age.
We have the ability to get really drunk and play some Madden against each other, and I've been pretty much primed for about the last 45 minutes and ready to go. And see what we do with the foosball.
Indeed. Well, let's get to picks.
All right.
Drink.
Budweiser and the tall boy this week for me, son.
I'm going to go a shocking Pendleton.
Ooh.
Little niller on the back end. I kind of enjoy that.
It is good.
Metal, I'm going new fucking Judas Priest Firepower. That got me going. Second, honorable mention to Wherever I May Roam.
I'll go Slayer. Anything having to do with war. All right.
MMA. I think my pick's going to be Lyoto Machida retires tomorrow.
Yeah, my pick is Lyoto Machida will get retired tomorrow.
Yeah, I was wording like he's going to do it his own volition. You're wording it like he's going to be forced to do it. Whoever has his power of attorney is going to make him retire.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, man, thanks. Welcome back to the party realm.
Indeed.
I rarely have to run shows, but goddamn, I think I held my own on this one.
Yeah, well, it was good to go ahead and kind of hand that over this time.
Well, my friends, thank you for joining us tonight. Next week's probably going to be a little early, maybe. It's going to be recorded early, but it will be up on Friday. And then after that, our salty asses are going to be in Austin, Texas.
Where they belong.
That's right. Well, thank you very much, friends, for listening to the Mead Metal MMA podcast. As always, I am Brandon with bald, no hair. And that is fucking Kevin just coursing with gluten in his veins.
Eat shit.
Eat shit and die, motherfuckers. Have a great one, friends.